Thank you so much, and let me first of all express my gratitude for you wanted to have me here as a speaker on the UKIP Congress. As you heard Steve said, I have a bit of unusual background as a politician. I went in the local politics and mainly by supporting a friend of mine, and then I found it quite interesting. You could see that you actually had a chance to make a difference, to tell the old politicians what I felt, what I had for experience of my background, not at least. And I'm quite an ordinary guy, I would say. I'm 53 years old, have 3 kids, a girlfriend at home in Sweden, and I spent 30 years on the roads in a lorry. And that was also one thing I wanted to make a big change in, because the transport politics now from the European Union is working quite badly, I would say. And we can see the effects in Sweden. You can see the effects here in Great Britain as well, with massive amount of foreign lorries on our roads. And actually last year we had over 200 trucking companies in Sweden that went into bankruptcy because it's not longer possible to compete with the low prices that the foreign trucks are driving for. And that was, in my perspective, never the intention by giving other companies a possibility to work on our roads. I was immediately, I would say, after coming to the European Union, because as Steve said, I was spotted on a party congress when I spoke about the transport politics, because it's quite a dear subject to me, since I've spent my entire working career there. And immediately they thought in our EFDD group I would be the perfect person to be the coordinator of the TRON committee, as it's called in European Parliament. And my function there is actually to speak up for my colleagues at home and my colleagues in Great Britain, spending so many hours in the cabins of the lorries. And I must say I have a very good cooperation with your fantastic MEP Jill Seymour and her staff. It's quite a pleasure to work together with Jill. Our mission in the committee became, like I said, to protect our national drivers. And you can hear a lot of talking today about social dumping, and that is drivers living months after months in their cabins. They are so low paid, they have no opportunity going in and have a nice meal, taking a shower, and they make pretty much all of their washing and stuff like that beside the truck on a parking spot. And we actually looked into what is the real problem. The social dumping, that is an effect. But the cause of this thing is actually European Union's cabotage rule system. That means a foreign truck can come into your country and can stay there for 7 days, and during that time use 3 national loads. Then, of course, the purpose was for the truck to leave the country. And that is where it's gone completely wrong, because I can see in my homeland, Sweden, we have a bridge connecting us to Denmark. That's a 20-minute trip. So it takes, for example, a Bulgarian or Romanian truck 20 minutes to go over to Denmark and pick up a new load, and then they're back again after 20 minutes. And the Danish, they have the same problem, because then they are going over to Sweden for a very short trip, and then they are back out on the roads again. So we realized from the beginning it's the cabotage rule system we have to make a change in. And actually, I will say after 1 year, both me and Jill has been speaking very hard about this. After 1 year, the Commission in the European Union finally came with an answer that they will take up the cabotage rule system to re-evaluation, and if it's necessary, they will put into place new legislation to stop the misuse of the rules. And I would say after 1 year, that's quite an achievement. We also have a big problem with drivers. You can see them on the roads. It's quite clear they are not experienced very well. And I see it in Sweden. For example, we have winter. And then it's major problem with the foreign trucks. They have bad equipment. They have bad knowledge, I would say, about how to drive in the winter climate. And then we found out, me and Jill, you can actually buy your driver's license. We found a web page called foreignlicense.com. It will cost you 400 euros. And then you send in your photograph. You just make a mark which kind of certificate you want to have. If you want to drive a bus or a truck or a motorcycle, you can choose what you want. 2 weeks and you have the license in your mailbox. And there's absolutely no chance for the local police to check this, because they are not connected in a database. I've been talking as a suggestion to solve this, to have an international database in the Union that all the cross-border drivers has to register in the local police station so they can verify that it's actually a valid license they have. And then it would be possible for the police in Sweden and Great Britain to check the driver's driving license in that database and actually be able to see if it's valid or not. So that is one of the things we are working on. That's so much about the transport. Of course, I'm also very Eurosceptic. That is why I choose the party Sweden Democrats. I know you have read a lot about our party in the, not at least the media, that I would say is very left-wing, home in Sweden. And it was quite funny in the beginning in the parliament. I had several interviews with different magazines and television networks, and you know, they have created an image in their head. Oh yeah, here he comes, the Sweden Democrats. And you know what image they have made. And I'm coming in, 52 years old, truck driver, with a family at home, and I didn't really live up to their expectations, I would say. So there was quite a lot of funny moments, but still we have the problem that the media wants to create an image about us. And I would say it's the same thing for UKIP in Sweden. The Swedish media tries to build an image of UKIP that isn't really true, not at all. I've become, like I often say, like a member of the UKIP family. I really like all the UKIP people in the parliament. And standing here and looking out over the ordinance, that must be like close to coming to heaven. All UKIP members, all Eurosceptic. It's not very often I get the chance to meet so many Eurosceptics. We also had a very specific goal from my party, the Sweden Democrats, when we were given 2 mandates in the Swedish elections for the European Parliament. And that was actually to become a member of the EFDD group, to follow UKIP, because there is no other party that has been so successful in criticizing the European political system. And in Sweden, I would say Nigel Farage is like a god, more or less. Whenever he makes a speech and makes an appearance and it's put up on YouTube, it's spreading wildly on the Swedish net pages. So we are a big fan of UKIP, and not at least Nigel, of course. And actually, I like to brag just a little for my party colleagues. I think I must be one of the few people in Sweden who has Nigel's direct telephone number. Isn't that an achievement? They all get really impressed. I take my phone up and say, look whose phone number I have. That makes me really popular, but I'm not giving it out, so it's only when for myself. we had, as I said, a plan to be a member of EFDD and UKIP. And we had a meeting with Nigel. You know, from the beginning, Nigel made a statement that he didn't really see the possibility of working together with our party. And we struggled to get a meeting with Nigel because we knew also that he had seen the picture that the Swedish media wants to deliver of us. And I also knew if he just got the chance to sit down and talk to us, he would realize that we are quite common people. I'm a truck driver. My colleague, woman, Christina, she has been working in a sales agency, and the last time before we came into the parliament, she worked as a nurse. You see, Swedish, that's difficult, but to translate everything into English. But it has been working out really well. We talked to Nigel for, I would say, half an hour in that meeting, and also Herman, Kelly. And after that, they actually realized that the image that they want to put up about us in the media isn't true at all. And you know it from here. You have the same situation. Everything you will, as a UKIP politician, say, the media will try to twist and turn into something bad, no matter what. I guess if we stood up and we said we love the European Union, we think they should decide everything, then we should be criticized for that. Because that is actually the thing. It doesn't matter what we do. They will twist and turn it into something negative. And that is just the way it is. But I was Eurosceptic when I came into the Parliament. And I can tell you, I haven't become any less Eurosceptic after actually seeing how it works there. I will give you an example. Last Wednesday, I had to fill in for the group in a dinner meeting that Martin Schulz, all the top names in European Union, including the chairman of the European Council, was in a dinner. 7:30 in the evening, the subject was to discuss the migrant crisis in the Mediterranean. And I came in there, and guess what? There was a table, very long, in the presidential suite, I think they call it, presidential room. And there were plates, gold-plated plates, covered with gold on the side. The forks, the knives were of silver, of course, the nicest ones. The wine was, of course, the best, both the white and the red. And there were, of course, all the waiters in black suits and white shirts serving it to us. And then they were talking about the migrant crisis and the terrible situation with the people who are drowning in the Mediterranean. And you know what? Doesn't that actually look like the Roman Empire? That's pretty much it. They are sitting there discussing problem. They don't have a clue how to solve the problem, but at least when they are discussing it, they can eat from gold-plated plates and have the wine. And as the spokesman for the EFDD group, finally I was handed the microphone. And then I told them, you know what? You're sitting here eating from your gold-plated plates. You're drinking your nice wine, and you're talking about a thing you don't have any solution for. The thing is, you have been doing such a bad job as politicians for the last 30 years. Now we are seeing the effect of what you have done. And now you don't have a clue how to solve it. You are talking about challenges. That is, I would say, the word for I haven't got a clue. That is actually what it means, challenge. That is the word they are using every time when they don't know what to do. I also explained for them, you should have started like 30 years ago to give some support to those countries that are coming, fleeing to us today. Help them in the nearby areas, help them to build the infrastructure, give them clean water, give them plumbing, give them healthcare service. Then people would have a little bit of hope, and they would have stayed in the countries. But we didn't. We tried to solve the problem by taking in, from the beginning, few numbers, and today you know how big the numbers are. And now they are really proud in the European Union. They are letting in 160,000 refugees and dividing them up among their member countries. But that is like a drop in the ocean. There are 60 million people waiting on the other side that wants to have a better life. Of course, everyone wants to have a better life. What do you think will happen when you send the signal, just come here, we will fix it? But we can't. There's no chance we can fix it. I see at home in Sweden now, today we are receiving 1,000 people a day. And if you add to that in a couple of years they will have some relatives coming to join up with them, that means Sweden are growing now with the size of Gothenburg. That's the second largest city in Sweden. Every year we are growing with the size of Gothenburg. Of course, the governments have been forced to do cutbacks in the social welfare and the pension system, of course, for the retired people. And now it's in a real bad state. We were once known in Sweden that we were a country to be proud of because we took care of everyone. We took care of the sick people, we took care of the elderly people, and now we don't have the money. We actually have elderly people today that don't have the money to get their medicines. They will have to choose between eat or get your medicine. And it's disgusting. It really is. It is people who have worked their entire life, paid the taxes, and once they become old, there's no welfare system left. It's incredible. It's like a big fraud, everything that's going on. And we are just one party. And we are the only party addressing the problem, because we are 8 parties in total in Sweden, and now they have made an agreement. The socialist side won the last election, and it's a minority government we are having now. So what happened was, to block us, Sweden Democrats, out of any position at all, they made an agreement with the Liberals that the Liberals won't vote against the socialist budget. In return, the socialists promised, if you win the election next time, we will do the same. And then you will get your budget through, all to block us out. So today we have one opposition party in Sweden, and that is us, Sweden Democrats. The other one has gathered up in one corner, all 7 of them, and we are alone on the other side. But what's happening now is that finally are the Swedish people slowly awakening. The latest poll, we had 27.3%. By that we are the biggest party in Sweden, actually. The socialists have 24-something% and the liberals around 20. So we have gone, we came into the national parliament in the election 2010 by 5.7%. We had a new election last year in September, and in that election we had 12.7, and in the polls now we have 27.3. So and we have a goal, of course, to be the biggest party and to stay in that position, because we have all the time said we are the party for ordinary people that are fed up with politicians that in the election campaign they promise a lot of things and they won't live up to it once they are sitting there in their positions. We are very firm in that position. That was actually one of the election campaign material we had. We are sending ordinary people to Brussels because we are fed up with these elite politicians. They don't live in the same kind of world that the normal working man or woman are. And I'm so happy to see you now, finally, you're in England going for the election, the referendum about staying or not staying in the European Union. And it's like a snowball that is on top of the mountain. It just needs a little push, and then it starts to roll. And you know what will happen? It will grow and grow. And believe you me, if you succeed in this election, we will be right behind you, fighting for the exact same thing to happen in Sweden. It's so important also that you, the common people, the ordinary people, are given the chance to use the thing we call democracy. The chance for the citizens to decide what they really want, not what the politicians want, because they don't actually have much knowledge about the ordinary people's life. And I'm quite convinced that you will, from UKIP side, do a fantastic election. Not at least you have a wonderful party leader. I'm really enjoying every time I'm seeing him speaking. I said when we came into the parliament, if I ever become half as good as Nigel, I would be fantastically happy. Well, I mean, he's quite amazing. He stands up in the parliament, in the plenary. No paperwork. Yeah, I'm a little like that as well, but no paperwork. And he just hands it out to everyone. And believe me, it's wonderful. The clip where he explained, what's his name now? And I'm forgetting. Yeah, in the parliament, where he explained that the new commissioner, the chairman, had the appearance of a bank, damp rag. Yeah, damp rag. I mean, that is like historical clip. I think it's been shown in Sweden a couple of million times by now. And I remember I was sitting at home in my sofa and looking at this, and I thought, my God, he's brilliant, that man. And can you understand, 1.5 years later, I'm working together with him. It's quite amazing. I went from my truck into local politics, and bam, I was in the parliament and working together with Nigel Farage. But it's unbelievable. Well, I won't be very much longer, but let me say that we are very happy to be in the EFD group and work together with UKIP, because it really feels like we have become a member of the UKIP family. We have the same values, we are representing the same people, the ordinary working class people, and it's a great pleasure actually to be in that group. So I'm quite sure we can achieve something, and I wish you the very best for the referendum in England about the membership in EU, and I will be there behind UKIP, of course, supporting them in every way possible, and by that I'm quite sure that you will do a fantastic result. Thank you so much for listening to me. Nice to be here.